What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Comeback Couples podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with
Kendra Jennison. And
we are live on that one singular mobile telephone device right there.
Solid.
I think over on the TikTok.
Talking.
All right. So, topic this week: grow together.
Grow together.
Or grow apart.
It's
your choice.
I love it.
But I'm going to do a little what I like to call massaging. As you know, I'm good at massaging you.
You are very good.
Who do you think is the best at giving a massage ever?
You, no doubt.
If you didn't say yes, or he didn't say me, I was literally going to...
Get out of here.
Boom.
Joe.
Pow.
Papa Joe.
Just like your dad would say to you. But last week, we did this episode, which you were just watching when I got home from having lunch with the girls. Was it a good one?
It was very good. I like to...
What are the highlights? I don't remember.
We talked about commitment and what it means to be committed to something and how it shows up in your life, or how much better your life can be because if you commit to something, or the lack of commitment. It was just really... I like to go back and re-listen to some of the episodes. I feel like it helps me become a better speaker.
I thought that was really cool myself. When I walked in. When I walked in the bathroom and you're getting ready, and I was like, dang, is she talking to herself? Because it was you talking. I'm like, did she turn into me? Is she having full-blown conversations with herself, or what the hell's going on? Which, by the way, this morning when I was walking into the gym, I was telling Ryan earlier, I legitimately had a full-blown conversation with myself. The guy in front of me is like, are you okay? He was 30 feet away. I didn't even realize I was.
You do it often.
Didn't even realize I was talking to myself. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I mean, I should be in Arkham Asylum. You know what that is in Batman?
I don't.
No. Ryan says, he knows.
Yes,
yes, I'll see you there. He says, we're both a little nuts in our own right.
Boys and Batman.
But this is, we're gonna massage this thing up and do it a little bit differently here before we get into grow together, grow apart. It's your choice. Mm-hmm. Last week at the end of it, what I do remember is Ryan had us do a couple little alcohol related outtakes, if you will.
I remember.
And what I want to do now is I'm actually going to hit you with a statement.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to get when I say it, I want you to just tell me how it feels.
Okay.
For me to say it.
Okay.
Alcohol is the devil.
How do I feel? I feel my first instinctual thing is I feel like that's an awfully silly thing to say. That was the first. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but I was like, oh, that's awfully silly.
All right, so you know where this came from.
I'm guessing from the church?
No.
Oh, so we just had that conversation? Yeah, I guess
we were just talking about the church. No, it's got nothing to do with that. We were at your sister, my sister-in-law, I guess call her sister's wedding this weekend. And maybe the guy will hear it again. I did another podcast about this a little bit ago. And remember when you're out dancing.
All night long, people.
All night. Doing you're doing your moves, dropping it like it's hot. And I'm doing what I do, which is just keeping my eye.
Watch me.
Watching you, head on a swivel, checking on my kids, seeing if I had anyone infiltrating the room, if I need to take them out before anything happens. That's what I do. That's like dancing.
It was perfect.
Keep my head moving. But you were out dancing with your mom, I believe, or whoever, I don't remember. But anyways, I was sitting by myself and I was getting ready to make a post about the night and about the day and kind of where we're at, and we left at 10:30. So it had to be 9:30. Wasn't super late. And that cat came and sat down. Nice guy, right? Nice guy. If he's listening to this is not a knock on you. This is you should hear this.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't remember it, but I figured it was worthy enough for me to remember to talk about it. But he said, he sits down with me, and I remember you looking at me kind of what's going on here? And he straight up said, alcohol's the devil. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Blame.
Game. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, blame. And then the reason I wanted to ask you is because I want to know what you said. What do you think about when people blame? It doesn't have to be just alcohol, just blaming shit on other things, people, places, memories, feelings, emotions. Another word that he used a couple times is trigger.
Sure.
And I was like, my response is real simple. Alcohol is not the devil, and the devil didn't make you drink these few drinks that it took you to come and get the balls, if you will, to sit down and talk to me about your situations going on. You made a choice and a decision. You pivoted inside of your mind and made an actual instinctual decision to have a beer or two or whatever you're drinking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
And that was the point I was trying to make to the guy. Bro, this pressure that you're putting on yourself.
Yep.
Here we are in a wedding. Right?
An open bar wedding.
Open bar wedding. And here we are in a wedding, and poor dude's like, can't just relax.
Yeah. He put a lot of pressure on himself.
So much pressure on the drink. And then probably having me be there probably intensified the pressure you already had going into it. Not that it's about me, but like, oh shit. Now, like in the back of his mind, he's like, I don't really want to, when the reality was, it's just making a choice, a decision to either serve yourself, to serve your life by making the right choices, or to like, don't fucking make it so difficult. And that's actually something that I want to talk about before we get into it, is like, how many things in our lives do we make so much more difficult than they have to be?
Quite a few things, I would venture to say.
You think you do anything like that?
You bet I do.
What is what? What is one?
I like to think that I just have a really high expectation for how we live as a family, or how I carry myself, or how the children should carry themselves. And sometimes that gets in the way, and it makes things harder than they need to be, in moments where I'm getting frustrated. And by no means do I ever expect our children to act like perfect robot children, just right? That's not the reality. I would never.
It happened at Starbucks this weekend.
It did. And sometimes that expectation that I have makes things harder than they need to be, instead of just allowing them to be.
What's the expectation you have for them?
I have it depends on what it is, but I have a health expectation for them. I have an exercise expectation. I have a discipline expectation. I have a manners expectation. I have an outside expectation. There are certain standards that I have for our kids, and which I think are very basic, by the way. So, but when they don't meet those, or when they cross certain boundaries, or I feel like then I am and kids are kids. Our kids will be the first ones to tell you that, this sucks, or I don't want to do this, per any kid. But yeah.
Yeah, that situation at Starbucks, when I even said that to you, I'm like, man, it feels like whenever I want to do something, these kids are just moping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and maybe it was just the accumulation of me just finally just trying to take a break.
And this is no diss like on how we raise our kids, because our reality is different than how we grew up. But our children, and I love them with everything, obviously, it goes without saying, but if it's not about our kids, they're really not interested in doing it.
That was actually the eye opener I had.
Yeah. And so you and I are like,
they were moping because they couldn't get Starbucks because you said no.
I said no. Well,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You said no, even though they had just been at a wedding eating
junk and candy and kitty cocktails all night long.
Yeah. And you said no, but you and I actually took some time for ourselves to be able to do something before we took them shopping, because they weren't getting to go shopping fast enough.
Yeah.
They looked like fucking mopes.
It was pitiful. But rolling it back into that conversation, would I change that about us? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wouldn't change the expectations that I have for them.
At the same time, since we're going to talk about growing together, growing apart, this is what we're doing. It's actually a great segue into the conversation. Sure. Is that like we're growing and we're learning what it's like to parent kids with high expectations of them and of ourselves. And sometimes I think that especially as I progress, right? Like Definitely. This past couple of weeks, there's been a massive shift in me. Right. So you're like, okay, dad's climbing again, and my husband's climbing again. Grab your fucking, like, okay, we're going to another level, right? So we don't even ever stop. This is just hit me right now. We never even stop to see or think what it feels like for them to rise up, because they don't really get a say in it.
Yeah. I did, and before this touches on that topic, I had a conversation with Jade, who seems to be the one that gives a little bit more pushback with some of our high expectations, or higher expectations. And I just remember she's our child that needs very deliberate explanation of things. She's very logical. She's very smart. She's very witty. And where Bailey and Phoenix, I could just tell them something and they'd be like, okay, this is what mom said, I have to do it. But Jade, she wants reasoning. She just needs that. And so I know this of her, and I had this conversation with her. And this was about the reading and the journaling. Our kids are expected to read at least 20 minutes every night and to journal every night. And Jade at first had like this great pushback. She was so like, why do I have to do this? What does this even mean? It doesn't even help me. I'm not even feeling different. She was telling me how she felt. And I just laid out very matter-of-factly, this is why we do what we do. And in this moment, in this conversation, she said, sometimes I just feel like you and Dad want me to do so much. She's like, right now I'm just getting used to journaling and reading. And now you expect me that I have to go do this now. She's like, I just feel like it's always so much. It's always so much. And I felt so bad in that moment because I was like, damn. Okay, she's 11-year-old little girl. I understand where she's coming from because I felt it. And I really felt her emotion behind. She was like, felt like she was crumbling. Like, is my expectation just too much for her? Because not everybody handles things how you and I handle things, or how, that's just a fact of life. And I looked at her and I said, I know it can be a lot. I know it feels like we expect a lot of you. I said, but I know you can do it. I said, you see how some of your friends live. You see how some of those families live. And I said, that's fine. That's great. I said, but this is how we are. This is how we're going to do it. I said, I'm raising you the best. Me and Dad are raising you the best way that we know how. I said, and as far as I'm concerned, I can tell that you pretty much like your life, Jade. And so when I just sat and I explained and I talked to her that we want to be elite humans, and this is what elite humans do as far as Dad and I are concerned. This is what we know. This is what we're teaching you. We want you to have this. I wish I would have had this at 11. And I know it feels like we expect a lot, but I know you can do it. And now she's the first one that'll come downstairs and be like, got my reading, got my journaling done, got this done, got this done. And I'm like, all right, there you go, baby girl. You're crushing it right now.
Yeah.
But never once. But the grow together, grow apart. Or I forget, is that what you said?
Yeah, either grow together or grow apart. It's your choice.
And what's so amazing for our kids is, I guess I think it's amazing. They might have choice words, but they don't get the choice. And I want to say there was one time, and I don't even know if you remember, but this is so prevalent in this conversation. We took my mom to Salem. Remember, it was me, you, my mother, my sister, and Kevin.
Yeah, it was during COVID.
This was during COVID, right? Okay, yeah, it was. I forgot about that. And this is how many years ago? Was that 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, 2020, so.
Okay, 4 years ago now, almost. I'm still learning. I'm still growing personally as an individual. There's so many things that I had yet to discover about myself through self-development, self-exploration, spirituality, what it even meant to be an elite wife for I Am a Comeback, for myself, for you, right?
Yeah, you were I wouldn't say you're brand new, but you were like,
I was new.
You were like 2 years into it. The first year we were just kind of figuring out, you were just trying to figure out, like, is this for me?
Yes, is this for me? And this is a very aha moment in our relationship, and I hope you remember this when I talk to you about it.
Is it when that guy yelled at us because we didn't have masks on?
No, fuck that guy.
Okay.
Anyways. And I can't even believe I'm going to say it. It's so embarrassing. Because this is the Kendra that I'm going to be talking about 3 years ago is not even the Kendra that it is now. But it's so prevalent to the story. My sister and I were excited. I had never been in a dispensary, like a marijuana dispensary. And it's open. It's like legal in Boston because we're from Wisconsin. It's not legal. And my sister and I were like, oh, cool. We're going to go into this dispensary. We're going to get a joint and we're going to smoke it. And we're going to do this in Boston because it's legal, like crazy. It was just a so dumb, juvenile, crazy thing that I was like, let's do it. And we went to dinner and then we went back to our Airbnb where we were staying and you pulled me aside. And you were so upset, like internally, I could just feel your energy. And you pulled me aside in the most loving, nurturing manner. And you said to me, now this is not verbatim, but you said to me, listen, I'm never going to tell you what you can and cannot do. But this is the life that I'm building, X, Y, and Z. This is what I expect of myself, X, Y, and Z. This is what I expect of you as my wife. And you are a representation of us, of our family, of I Am a Comeback, blah, blah, blah. And you said to me, you can choose to do this because I'm never going to tell you what to do. But I'm going to let you know right now that if this is how you want to live, then you're not the wife for me. Like, I don't want to tell you what to do, but if that's what you want to do, go do it. But if you cannot uphold yourself to a higher standard, to higher expectations, to a higher way of living, and you told me, you're like, I will show you how to get there. I will never leave you behind. I will do whatever it takes to help you get there.
There was a certain time talking about at that part where it wasn't just that. There was a couple experiences we went on. It was even camping one time, and the couple times that you drank.
Yes.
And you were being sucked into a person I know you're not.
Yes. And it was very, I don't know the right word for it because, and I just wasn't as confident in who I am as I am now. You know, I still had the influences of my family and how I grew up. And then I had the influences of you. And somewhere in the middle, I was trying to figure out how it all fit together, how I fit together, right? Anyways, going back to that conversation. And in that moment, you talked to me and I looked at you and I remember I said to you, wow, you are so right. I am really sorry that I could not see, you know, how juvenile I was being about such stupid things. I said, nowhere in my life or in our goals would smoking this joint or having these drinks get us anywhere closer to who we want to be. And so that brings us back to the conversation of this topic, grow together or grow apart. I was left with the decision to either grow with you, to finally choose and be decisive about what is actually important to us in our life and what is going to help us grow as individuals, as a family, as a couple. Or, hey, baby girl, we got to part ways. You can go do you, but that's not for me. That's not what I see for us. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot do, but we got to part ways.
I never try to control you. I just laid it out.
You've never controlled me, but you were always in control.
I have a very good way of helping people find out how to make their choices.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Literally feel the emotion behind the choice. Because I want to, we'll touch base on that. I'm sure that's going to be a good part inside of the conversation where there's going to be a bunch of little pussies that are like, oh, it's a joint. And like, I just clearly know. I don't care if I didn't.
It wasn't about the that. Joint. Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to get you to this version. I'm trying to get this version to the next version. Yes. And if we look back in 2020, I mean, I was only 2 years into this. This thing wasn't proven the way that it is right now.
Exactly.
Right. So anything that would come on, like if we got pulled over and you got in trouble or whatever,
it would have looked bad.
Would have looked bad on us. I'm like, I'm trying to hold myself to a standard, and I'm trying to put you in a position next to me.
Yep.
Right. Because if you go back to what I said on the boat when I married you, not ahead, not behind, right to my side.
Exactly.
Like equal in everything.
And what's so amazing is we can even roll. That was 3 years ago, and rolling into this weekend, my sister got married. It was amazing, beautiful. It was so much fun. Like Mark said, I was literally dancing all night long. Doesn't matter.
It really was a good time.
It really was. And my favorite part about who I've grown into, obviously with your guidance and your love and your future casting for exactly what we want as a family and as a couple. I was able to go to this wedding, which was my family wedding, open bar. And not one time did it ever cross my mind that it would be more fun if I had any drink. Not one time. Alcohol became so irrelevant in my life because of the clarity that you've given us as a couple on where we're going and what does that mean and what does that look like? What does the most elite Kendra look like? I mean, how many times have you asked me that question? What does the most elite version of you look like, Kendra?
Right now I ask you every day.
You ask me every day?
Because I'm trying to see it in my mind so I can take you to it by taking me to who I am.
And so I take that with me everywhere I go, even at an open bar wedding. It was my sister's, and Kendra 3 or 4 years ago probably would have been like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I will have a glass of wine with dinner, or I will. But now it has become so abundantly clear for both of us. But I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I want.
Can I know exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know why? So four times pop into my mind, right? The 2 times you drank.
Yep.
And the other time you were going to smoke a joint at we're camping.
I remember.
I think you even did. And I'm like, this is like,
you're like, what is she doing?
What the fuck are we doing? It's like in the middle of a farm field camping. This is not how I want to live my life. Yep. And then that time there, which I didn't remember until now, but I was not, the reason I did this for you was, to help you become this person. Mm-hmm. But I was not going to ever allow you to run from the pain.
Sure.
That I know is inside of you.
Yeah.
And it's better now.
And let's bring up the 2 times that you've ever seen me drunk. where I was a complete mess. I was a shit show. I was embarrassing. I have a lot of hurt and anger, even more so than
PTSD, hurt, anger. Yeah.
But these are all things I was new, and these were things that I didn't even know how to work through. At the time, I didn't know how to work through any of them. They were things that I was like, oh, let's just forget about them. Kendra doesn't talk about them. I don't do this. And then those 2 times that I drank, it was just like emotional overflow. And it was just embarrassing. And it was a part of my life that I look back now and reflect on, because obviously it's a much different story now with the growth and the guidance and the future casting and just all of the things that you've ever done for us. And I say you because without you and your help and your guidance and your love and your patience with me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have sat at that wedding and not had, and
I'm not the one that tells you not to drink. You could have had 2 drinks. You could do whatever you wanted to do.
And here's the thing. It's not about the alcohol. Do I care if people drink? Absolutely not. I know wonderful people. I know wonderful, amazing individuals that are able to sit down at a wedding, have a couple drinks and call it that. Good, great. I love that for them. But for me and in my life, I was able to sit and I was able to question everything, really question my relationship with alcohol as a whole. And I just got to a spot in my life where I was like, it does nothing for me. You
told me everything I needed to know about the way you felt without me asking questions by telling me how you experienced the loss of your brother.
Sure.
Therefore, I could never let you go down this hole that you were sucked into. Then when you met me, you were grieving.
Yes.
And I pulled you up.
You did.
Right? Like with relatively quickly, also there's excitement. There was a new man in your life, me, right? There's a new son,
a new man in my life who didn't drink and who was so certain about what it meant to somebody who obviously worked through immense amount of pain, Because
I think you told me you were drinking like a bottle of wine a day, and it wasn't even I
wouldn't even be affected
because you were so depressed.
I was so depressed. I was so angry. I was so sad. I was just so unsure of who I was.
Angry at God, unsure of yourself, miss your brother, hate the world.
Missing my dad after that.
That wasn't even there yet. This is packaged up in this beautiful little small 120-pound smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was this deep, 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 dark hurt that I've known's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, and it's interesting you brought up patience because I was stacking this morning on patience with you. After we were on the way to school today, and Phoenix brought up the fact that you signed him up for the thing at Lakeland.
And it meant so much to him.
And he's seen, it makes me kind of tear up. He hears you when you say, you said God's plan a couple days ago. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It means something to him because that kid loves God.
I know he does.
Loves God. And so when you said that, and then little notes you've been writing, little things you've been doing, but when you laid out the fact for him that there was, that you opened up this experience of yourself, it changed. What am I trying to say here? It made me recognize the amount of work that I've done to build a place of peace, a sanctuary.
Yes.
Of space for you. I am not a patient person.
You are not a patient person.
Like, I'm calm right now. I'm calm with you, but you give me this peace, and I built this thing. So I was literally stacking, talking to God, and I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, where do these patients even come from? Because I don't possess them in any other thing.
No, you don't.
Except for when it's with you and allowing, like, if it's one of my men, even like someone that's listening to this thing, I expect you to stop being a fucking pussy.
Yep.
Quickly.
Rise up.
Rise up. You're the man. I expect certain things like this in you, but it's been interesting because in your pain, God has told me when I paced it, I walked that field, just miles that you don't even know about. Be patient with her. Be patient with her. There's something. She has something. There's something she's going to see. I don't know. And I think you're slowly seeing, maybe you've seen, I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting how all this is coming to place.
And I think that's the perfect, once again, the perfect pictation of you always, as the man, as the leader of our family, always being 10, 20 steps ahead. You know what I mean? And once again, you are always in control, but never controlling. And to me, that meant you're in control of exactly where we're going and what you expect of our family, but never controlling me to do it in your time, but in my time. Mm-hmm. Having the patience and allowing me and guiding me and making me question things or having me see things in a different perspective opened me up to so many incredible, I literally love this, Kendra. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine how much more awesome I'm going to think of myself in like 2 or 3 years, right? And again, it just brings us back to that grow together or grow apart. And the greatest gift that you've ever given me as a husband is giving me the gift of leading me as your wife, taking me along the side with you, and still allowing me to be my most authentic self, allowing me to still be me. You know, you never expected me to change. You never expected me to do this. You held expectations.
I did
you
say,
held,
hey, like,
yep, you held expectations and you held standards.
But
you still allowed me to be me.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want you to be some version in my mind that I made. I'm helping you become who you are. I know what that looks like because you lay it out for me, but like, I'm not trying to like control you here, put this dress on here, do your hair. Like,
never.
That's not what I'm trying. I'm not that fucking type of guy. But after that second time that you got buzzed up and you were mean to me, but you were dealing with a bunch of hurt, it was after Alyssa's
mom died. Yep. I remember.
In the middle of the day, and I went and I picked you up.
And I was drunk.
And you were bringing drunk middle day.
Yep.
And you were bringing things up from my past.
Yep.
That have never, ever, which is the only time you'd ever done it in my life. I didn't say a word, drove you home, put you to sleep. You had one fucking boot on, laid you on the couch, then I left.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I'm not just going to sit here all day.
I'm sure you were in that moment questioning, is this the right girl? Is this what she wants to live her life like?
I did question that, but first I had to sort through the anger.
Sure.
Because I'm like, how the fuck does somebody who you've never, ever even... I've never been mean to you once.
You've never raised your voice at me. You've never yelled at me.
I smile.
You're the sweetest to me, even when life throws you the most punches.
From day one.
From day one, always.
Like, this is not some bullshit.
It's literally my favorite thing.
It's literally every day of my life because I made a choice and a decision to never hurt you. Mm-hmm. And on that moment, I remember I actually went to Potbelly's. I went for a walk and then went and ate dinner at Potbelly's. This time I was gone like 4 hours and you texted me or you called me like, where are you? And you didn't even remember
that you brought me home.
I brought you home. And you didn't even remember
Pitiful.
Being mean to me. But then you woke up the next day because I just left you sleep there. I went to bed and I don't even know if I slept. I was fucking angry. But the next day we talked and I said like, hey, if this is how you're going to do it, it's not for me.
No. Gosh. And I look back and thank God I can look back now and say to myself, because how pitiful that was and how embarrassed it's just like so embarrassing to have to like have this out there live. I
think there's something that needs to be said right here because I heard it in my head. Yeah. This is also a place where you cannot keep score because I could say, well, she's done it to me now twice.
Oh yeah, true. See, I didn't even think about that. I know you. I just know you and your love and your patience for me.
For you, I'm saying for the listeners out there.
That's a great point.
I hear it all the time. Well, she got fucking wasted. Why can't I? Or he got wasted. Why can't I? It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
which is this game, this rival of who can be more fucked up and hurt each other. That's not what it was. I didn't hold it.
You never held it against me.
No, and I don't even. I mean,
you allowed me the opportunity to.
We dealt with your dad.
We dealt with my pain. We dealt with which you obviously knew I was in. You dealt with some of the anger that you had from me being so belligerent in that moment, so juvenile. And then I think consciously, like you said, you made another choice where you were like, all right, this girl she needs me. She needs my strength. She needs me to show her a way of life that she's never seen before. An outlet where she can work through the anger and work through the pain and work through the PTSD and work through all these things that she clearly hasn't worked out. Anyways, in that moment, you made that choice. And in another moment, once I saw you helping and growing me and I'm coming to light in all of these healthy, beneficial ways of, oh my gosh, this is what my life can be like. Oh my gosh, alcohol is irrelevant now. Oh my gosh, no, I don't need to smoke a joint in Boston, Massachusetts. Oh my goodness, this is who I am now. All of that and all of your love and all of your growth and all of your expectations and all of your standards helped me elevate into the woman that I am today, and is going to help me elevate into the woman that I'm going to be in X amount of days, months, years from now on. Growing with you, because that's what I want to do. This is who I want to be. This makes me feel good. Becoming the best version of myself, which the best version of me that I know now doesn't include drugs or alcohol in any way, shape, or form. For somebody else, it might. It might include drinking a glass of wine. It might include smoking a joint here and there. If that's for you, great. You go do you. But for me, the best, most elite version of me doesn't include that. It doesn't include it for you. Maybe in 25 years when you did what you got to do. I don't know.
No, I mean, it seems like every year, every
it just
month,
becomes so abundantly clear.
It's just so irrelevant.
It's so irrelevant. And I think that's the best feeling.
Which, by the way, and this is a great spot for me to say this, like, I never thought it was possible.
Never thought it was possible.
Like, I literally believed that everything in life had to do with alcohol. I mean, there was a time in my life when I thought that every person in the world got so fucked up like I did.
Yeah, like I knew that was crazy.
I just didn't understand that people didn't drink and drive.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that people didn't start drinking at 6 a.m. because wherever I'm going, I'm seeing other people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pay attention to what you see. Also, the version that I wanted to be was that version of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I wanted to be this person who could be fucked up all day, make a bunch of money, live life crazily, right? Like kind of a cesspool, disgusting life.
Yep.
So to sit where I sit now, I'm looking at like what's possible as a high value, high performing man in a high value, high performance relationship. Mm-hmm. I could never, ever, I just don't want to go back. I often wonder, like, what is a 60-year-old version of Mark look like? I'm going to be shredded.
You're going to be so shredded.
I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be shredded. Whether I drink or don't drink is irrelevant. I'm going to be on a beach. I'm going to surf. I'm going to, if I can eat burrito, like the vision for me, I'm going to get the money thing over with so I can truly live life. I'm going to pay the price today so I can pay any price in the future.
I love it.
Anywhere, anytime, with you, for me, for my kids. I want to go back to that real quick for a second. You know, like with those kids saying they don't really have a choice, they do have a choice.
They do have a choice. And actually, you've said that to our kids, where I'm kind of like that. You guys don't have a choice. You're going to do it. And that's just because in my own frustrations.
Bailey's not eating snacks right now. Why?
Because she chose not to eat her dinner.
She made a choice.
Yep, she did.
How did I lay it out?
You said you can make the choice.
You can have a choice.
Yep, and she chose.
She chose, no, I don't want to eat dinner. Okay, well, great. You don't get snacks. Don't eat
and actually, that's my favorite thing that you do for our kids is you let them know very clearly, hey, listen, you don't have to do what I say. I think you've literally said to the kids, you can tell me to fuck off and I don't want to do it. Great. That's your choice. But also know that your choices may or may not have consequences.
Your choices come with repercussions. It doesn't mean you're going to get what you want the way you think you want it. So this is a great podcast.
Yeah. I was not expecting it to go that way, but I had that in my head as soon as you had said grow together or grow apart. And I had that epiphany moment back 3-4 years ago now, and I thought that was perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the growth and grateful for your patience and your love and your gracefulness with me. I just love you so much.
I love you too. And literally as I'm sitting here thinking, going through my mind, I'm like, it's the only thing I slow down in life for is you. I can't even slow down for the kids because they're so busy.
We literally.
Like I literally just was at lunch with Jade and Bailey. You got to get this done, do some more videos. We got to get home to get Phoenix and Jade to fucking
Bailey to cheer, Phoenix to basketball,
Bailey to cheer, Jaylee and Bailey to basketball. Like it never.
A lot of parents share that taxi driver.
Yeah, 5-star Uber dad.
Yeah,
that doesn't get any tips.
You can give me a tip.
Oh, I will. All right. That's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you. Peace.